Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Arrive, the podcast for SaaS founders racing from launch to ARR, where we spotlight founders' journeys and growth and unpack the tactics that turn an MVP into predictable revenue. Today's podcast is brought to you by Phantom Growth. We partner with SaaS companies to build predictable pipelines of qualified buyers that raise MRR, all without a big sales team or massive ad spend by leveraging AI and proven systems for growth. If you're curious how Phantom Growth can help your SaaS company create predictable growth and revenue, you can visit Phantom, F-A-N-T-U-M, growth.com to schedule a call. Now, I'm really excited. Today's guest is Feli Oikonomopoulou, and she is amazing. She's a founder of an incredible product called WealthMeUp, a former lawyer turned fintech founder, currently leading WealthMeUp, a mission-driven platform focused on making investing more inclusive and accessible, particularly for women. She holds a master's in law and an MBA from Yale, where she also serves as director of research at the Center for Stakeholder Innovation. With a career that spans Europe, Asia, and the US, Feli brings a truly global perspective to the investment space, combining academic rigor, international insight, and a passion for closing the gender investment gap. Thank you, Feli, for being on here. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yes, no, thank you for having me. I'm so excited as well. Yes, congratulations for the amazing podcast that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I'm really excited when you responded and said that you'd be willing to jump on. I read up a little bit about what you were doing in your past, and I mean, there's a million things that you've done which are just amazing, having studied at Yale and received your MBA and then your law degree from Oxford. So let's just kind of dive in. I mean, let's have you tell it better than I could. Tell me about your journey up until this point.
Well, of course, I hope it's interesting to your audience. I mean, nothing too excited. I started my career in law. I am originally from Greece, if you can tell from the accent. Initially, I wanted to become a lawyer. I studied law. It was a subject I really liked. I was really passionate about. I found the legal profession a bit limiting in terms of the impact that I could actually make. So I started as a lawyer in Europe. I was in Paris, Luxembourg, and in the UK. Turned it into finance very quickly. So from a lawyer at a law firm, I switched into banks. But still, I felt that the impact that I could have would be limited. The one thing I noticed, and again, as you said, my career was primarily in Europe. I also lived in Singapore, and then when I came to the US, one thing I noticed is that wherever I was going, whenever I had discussions about finance and investing, it was very consistent that men were feeling very comfortable talking about that and sharing their insights, whatever these were. But women did not share the same comfort to discuss about finances and about investing. And then I dive into the data a bit more, and I saw that it's very consistent that in every country and in every continent, there is an investment gap that takes from 3 to 8 generations to be bridged if we continue at the same pace of investing. And you will tell me, yes, of course, in countries where they don't know about finances, or they are not very financially literate, or the gender equality is not that advanced. No, we are talking about Europe. In Europe, it will take 3 generations. We are talking about the US. It will take 4 generations. We are talking about Asia, Singapore, or Hong Kong. It will equally take 4 to 5 generations for the investment gap to be bridged according to the current rhythm of men and women investing and approaching finances. So there is a problem. There is a big one. It costs us. No one and no woman became really educated, really advanced at her career, only to find out that even if the wage gap, gets eliminated, she still be left behind because of the investment gap. And the investment gap has this bad thing of compounding. Yeah. This essentially means that someone who invests and someone who doesn't, even though they earn the same money, in 20 years from now, the one who invests may have like 4 times more wealth than the one who doesn't. So it was exactly this gap that I was aiming to bridge And when I came to the US and I came to do my MBA, I completely switched from law into business. I wanted to do a company that addresses this very important social issue. And here comes WealthMeUp.
Wow. So even before you went into your MBA, this was already brewing.
Yes, kind of, yes. Again, when I created, yes, I did not grow up thinking, oh, I want to create a business. I grew up thinking, yes, I want to create an impact in something that matters to me. And business was a fantastic way to do that in a multiplied way and in a profitable way. And I primarily wanted to do something that would address my issues and my concerns as a young female investor and would address my pain points when I first started investing when I was like 22.
Very cool. So you found that with your own interest and seeing the pain point within yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I asked a lot myself why I did not invest as much as I would like to. And the answer I found that this was not like at the beginning of creating the company, the things we were experimenting with, it was like, shall we introduce a financial literacy course? Shall this course be a bit more gamified and therefore more tempting to people to use it? However, we really quickly found out that financial literacy is not necessarily the problem when we are talking for countries such as the UK or the US. We even found out that women were very educated in finance, and a very common answer we would have from women is, "Oh, I know nothing about investing." And then they starting saying, I know a bit of that and a bit of that. And it turned out that they really knew a lot more about investing than they thought, which brings us back to like this confidence level that I would translate into a perfectionist, into a feeling of I need to be perfect, otherwise I'm not taking action. In other words, we saw that women were less likely to take action on something, that being like start investing, if they could not be certain about the outcome.
And you found that the course that it sounds like you were starting to make wasn't addressing that real problem because they were already educated?
Exactly, because they were already educated. And at some point, first of all, courses, okay, you have to do it. Like investing is something that you need to do it on your daily life. And this is how you learn. You learn by doing.
Yeah.
And courses are also boring. Like you don't want after school or after your work, you don't want another course. But what was also true is that especially women, like people were not uneducated about their finances. Knew the right thing to do, they were not doing it. Which brings us to the solution that we have found. We said, yes, not everyone is an investor, but everyone spends. Everyone spends on something. Like from coffee to going to the gym.
Women are the best consumers out there. So,
well, I don't know if this is a perpetuating bias, but it's true. It's true that not only women drive the majority of consumer spending, 14 trillion per year in the US, 80% of consumer spending in the US or globally, but also because CPG companies know that they target their marketing campaigns primarily around women. The same marketing, but women are not equally the target for investment campaigns, like investment firm-related campaigns.
Very true. Why did you feel that was? Do you think people were assuming that they would have to educate them more like you had assumed originally?
I think it's a chicken and an egg. If a platform is created by men, unavoidably it's created for men as well. And then it receives more data from men, and then it markets to everyone, but primarily to men. And then more men use it, so it makes business sense for this company to continue targeting men. In the same way that consumer-focused companies attract women, and therefore they double down their marketing budget on women. This starts because like in many households, women are the ones who make the budgeting decision making, like who manage the budget and do the spending for the household. And this kind of perpetuates the fact that marketing budget is primarily spent on convincing women as buyers. Yeah. And then women, as a result, form the majority of consumer spending.
Yeah. So tell me, did you work with a few women while you were building this? And how did that kind of formulate what is now WealthMeUp?
Yeah, when we started building that, we worked equally with men and women, Primarily Gen Z millennials. We were very interested to see how this generation reacts. We found out that the product fits better with women, which was excellent for us because it means that it accomplishes its mission. And women get the idea very quickly. They don't really, they get the idea very quickly. They are excited about using it, and they are like, yes, that makes sense. Like I will buy that anyway. It's great if you remove from me this etiquette, the label that I am an overconsumer, and replace it with I'm a smart investor.
Yes.
And but to reach this result, we trialed the product with both men and women, and we've seen that men are very likely to use the product as well, not necessarily for the same reason. So men would not tell us, oh yes, I do that every day anyway, or I would buy that any day, remove this overconsumption label from me. They would say something like, oh yes, I invest. Let me invest, some more. Can I invest in something more risky? So the discussion is quite different. But I think it solves a problem. Ultimately, our platform solves a problem for those who want to enjoy their lifestyle, want to enjoy their life without the constraint of, I need to save more in order to invest for my future. But at the same time, we do have an obligation to show to the next generation how to build wealth sustainably and how to take care of their future self, even though this is not the priority at the moment.
Yeah, very cool. So you found total product market fit. You realized that this was resonating really well with women, and also
no, don't get me wrong. We are still working on the product market fit. It's never like you have an idea, you get into the market, and it's a success.
Sure.
We're still iterating, we're still pivoting, but what we stay loyal to is our vision, which is to make every spender an investor, or to find, in other words, to find ways to take care of your future wealth in what you already do and love.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant because it's a very untapped market, and you've done some really insightful research to gather this. So this is really interesting, and you're kind of bringing this to the forefront of our minds. I had never thought about, how much of the market isn't really tapped into when it comes to women. Because, everything is focused there. Now, that's not to say that you're not working with all genders, but tell me a little bit about how you guys then created the app and how you went into that, found your first customer and kind of that experience in the journey.
No, the first customer discovery happened while I was in school, where I was experimenting with different ideas, and it includes a lot of grinding, a lot of talking to people, receiving a lot of no's, this is not interesting, or having your first group of friends trying something that you have created. They always say yes, it's amazing, but you find out that they don't use it, and data is always what shows you if something is successful or not. So you iterate and reiterate until you find something that sticks with more people, and then you reiterate again, and it's a constant.
Mm-hmm. Constantly iterating all the time.
Exactly, and then you have to pitch the product to different stakeholders, and every time different stakeholders is a different audience with their own thought process, pain points, needs. It's very different to pitch the product at the beginning to your first users, which are also 10 years younger than you, probably. And to your first users, they have completely different problems than an investor who is going to invest in your product, or than a partner who is going to work with you on your product. So all these were very, very steep learning curves that we had to go through, and we are still going through them. To make the product successful.
Yeah. That's not an easy task. What other challenges have you run into with this, building this product?
Oh my God, the challenges are numerous, and you have one every day or multiple every day. Actually, no day comes without a small success and like 3 big failures. Yeah. Again, at the beginning, it's all about... Exactly. So at the very beginning, it's all about finding the idea, but an idea that, it's well curated. And this includes a lot of grinding, a lot of, interviews, a lot of failures, a lot of discussions that go nowhere. And it's a very lonely process also, because you're essentially on your own. This next challenge is about finding your team, bringing the right people, and this doesn't happen in one day. It's very difficult because it's not only a matter of skill set, but it's also a matter of culture, of values, of working with someone 24/7 and be able to go through them in the good and bad moments. Then it all becomes about growing your user base and how you talk to a bigger audience of users in a way that they understand and in the way that you get the message across. Then it all comes to how you build partnerships. And again, it's a constant pitch. It doesn't happen in one day. Actually, a partnership gets signed one day, and it sounds easy, but you haven't realized how much time you have spent before that to build this relationship. And then on the top of that, it's always relationships to be built with investors or prospective investors. And some of them can be good with you, some of them can see the vision but want more. And there are those also who want to completely discourage you from continuing. So along these lines, and when you have to deal with so different stakeholders, you have to pitch the same vision, but tweak the strategy a bit in each case, or tweak the messaging, actually, not the strategy, the messaging to make the idea compelling to each of them. And this is a constant struggle. You may have found your way of speaking to users and then the tech doesn't work. Yeah.
Do you feel like your law background helped you with that, with kind of pitching and looking at all the different angles?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I get to understand now how a marketing background is so fundamental, and I don't have that, but the law background definitely. And it helped me with the messaging, but it also helped me stay resilient when I hear very extreme views or opinions from some people.
Yeah, no, that's so hard.
Stay resilient in this argumentation of why we need that and why this is the right way to do it.
So after a day of maybe some really negative feedback and you're feeling like, man, did I just create a product that maybe people don't want or appreciate? How do you bounce back mentally?
I never think about it this way, and I have received some very harsh feedback. I try always to see from this feedback if there is something I can get. I mean, sometimes there's just, you can have just mean feedback and then you don't care. But sometimes if this comes from people who have knowledge in the industry and they see something that is, they see things that you haven't seen, you haven't considered, and this will come up later, you need at least to consider this feedback. So we always, if there is this feedback, we spend much more time to discuss it with the team and say, oh, this is feedback that came from one person, but this is what others may be thinking about and they don't tell us. Is this really a problem? And if so, how do we address it? So we spend much more time on this reiteration than on, how did you say, getting yourself together after the feedback.
Yeah.
It's difficult to say, oh, really worries me or stresses me when I receive negative feedback. But I think that negative feedback, it's at the end of the day what brought us where we are and what will bring us to where we will go, because we are not staying grounded into one strategy. We are willing to reiterate and pivot all the time, as long again as our mission, as we go towards our mission, as long as we stay loyal to our mission.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of got to have your North Star that you're always pointing to, so you feel like there is some rhyme and reason. And when you do get that feedback, it doesn't completely derail the path that you were on. You still know what the business is. That's important.
Exactly. And to your point, we also have feedback that we consider all the feedback. We don't agree with all the feedback. So, for example, if someone comes and says, okay, I don't recognize this as a problem. I think that there are so many apps out there. Women can invest as much as men. I don't see an issue. Then this person is oblivious of the reality that I'm going through. I cannot, I hear that, we hear a lot that the app can be applicable to both men and women. Yes, absolutely. The app is for everyone. What we do say is that there is an underrepresented demographic who has the financial capacity to invest. How do we know that? Because this underrepresented demographic of women drives the majority of consumer spending. Again, 14 trillion per year. So they do have the financial capacity. This underrepresented demographic is set to inherit billions of dollars within the next, or trillions of dollars within the next few years. And this underrepresented demographic now has the knowledge, has the means, and has the willingness to use their wealth in a way that makes sense to them and to their future self. If someone does not see that, there is no debate. But if you do see that there is an opportunity that is coming up, there is a market very ready to consume different types of products, and there is a market very much underrepresented. Why? Because they do not have financial products that speaks to their needs and to their very unique lifestyle. So if you don't see that, there is nothing else that we can say. But if you do see that there is a gap, then the discussion is about how do we address this gap, and have we chosen the right strategy to address it? And if you disagree with the strategy, you're more than welcome to tell me why, and we can spend hours discussing how we can make that better and how we can pass this message and convert more female users into investors more easily and more seamlessly.
Yeah. So interesting how marketing works. It feels like sometimes we're manipulators, but we're just digging into people's minds and saying, where are the trends? Where's it going? And how can we speak to these people with a specific problem that we're going to solve that's going to just make a huge impact? And it looks like you're looking really deeply at the future, the trends, what you're currently seeing, and solving a really important problem that a lot of people haven't really had the guts to solve. So did you feel like when you noticed this problem that for you were like, I can solve this? Was there like this empowering moment where you said, me as a woman and with my background, like this is me? Or was there still some hesitation about, what road was ahead for you?
Yeah, not hesitation, but there is a lot of uncertainty. The question for me was not, can I do it, or maybe I cannot do it. The question for me is, do I want to do it? And yes, I do want to do it. And I do have this North Star, as you've put it. And I have said I will be loyal to that and I will not derail from that. What does this mean? A number of times the feedback that you receive is, how will you make money more easily based on what people already like doing, but not necessarily how you will provide something that is better for your users and for your clients.
Yeah.
So this is something that we are absolutely committed to find ways not only to bridge the investment gap, but to create confident investors and to remove a lot of biases around investment, about investing, about wealth building, and actually make it part of our everyday lifestyles. Which is, finance is embedded anyway into our everyday life. Financial products are not necessarily. And this is exactly what makes them not truly accessible to everyone.
Yeah. I love that. Implementing it into the everyday life, removing the barriers of entry to make it as easy to tap into, which it sounds like is just working out really well. I am curious, one of my favorite questions to ask founders is, if you, knowing what you know now, had to start over from scratch today, no brand, no product, money, what would your first 90 days look like? And what would you maybe do differently than you've currently done?
Well, I would probably do exactly what I did, but quicker.
Yeah.
I remember, especially at the beginning, and I think that this is a very common trait of MBAs, like I have seen that with others too, that you are very much afraid of failing. And failure also means get an idea in front of a person and not really receive the response that you would like. Don't receive something else than, oh, this is great. Then you really have to train yourself into receiving negative responses. Probably a salesperson could be ideal for an entrepreneur. You need to train yourself into receiving very negative responses or negative responses, and be persistent about solving a problem that is not going to be solved today or tomorrow. And you don't know exactly, there is no timeline. Therefore, I cannot think of something that I could do differently completely. Also, things take time. It's all about building relationships, different relationships. I would just experiment with some things quicker and fail quicker. And I would not be afraid to put myself out there, put the idea out there, again, quicker. and more.
Yeah. Fail fast, fail cheap. Yeah.
Yes, yes. No, fail
It's a hard
cheap, we
thing to
have
do.
done it. Yes.
Well, that's good. And a lot of people don't do that, and they could still be building a product that no one actually wants. So, I mean, as you've been building this with your target customer, it sounds like you're iterating and learning in a really healthy way. So maybe paint me the 3 year picture. What's kind of the goals you have ahead for Wealth Me Up and where you want to get to?
Oh my God, the future is very exciting. I hope. I mean, we are always raising money, and hopefully we will get them. So subject to us having been well funded, we have exciting plans about expanding our investment capabilities. We are operating in the wealth management space. Currently, we are fully registered and SEC approved registered investment advisor, meaning that we do accept money, either your cashback and rewards money or your own direct deposits, and we manage them for you, like hands off. At the moment, we are doing well diversified personalized portfolios according to your values. So say you want to invest in female-led companies or for the environment, we do take that into account. And then we will expand our investment capabilities into offering more sophisticated products, always at the wealth management space, meaning that we are doing the management for you. So essentially, we are going to provide you the capabilities that someone with a 5 million plus portfolio has, and a financial advisor. We are going to provide all that to much younger users who do not have my 5 million plus, who may not even have like 10K in their account, but they do have the ability and they do have the willingness to build their wealth for the future. We are also planning to expand on our deals offer. We are always looking for great partnerships with brands that are in line with our values, are in line with our vision, and they are looking to co-brand for us to offer something more meaningful to their clients and give their clients an opportunity to build their future because they are loyal customers to these brands.
Yeah,
So this is how the next year actually looks like: continuous expansion and also integration of AI, like personalize it, making the experience more personalized, learning from our users is at the cornerstone of what we are doing. We want an experience that is personalized and seamless. Otherwise, it does not address the main pain point of finance not be truly embedded into your everyday life. So we are actively looking for ways to integrate more AI into our processes, not by becoming an AI company or by using AI as a buzzword, but really by using AI to learn more from our users and facilitate more this shopping and investment experience.
yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I think every SaaS founder is kind of looking into the AI space, saying how can we leverage this? And it's there's so much untapped potential. I feel like the most frustrating part about AI is what we don't know, and you probably feel similarly.
Yes, yes.
There's
Or
so much.
where we drive the balance between like how much AI is too much AI, and how where do we lose this more humane element in our interactions at every phase of life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting balance, and I feel like that's going to be the next, 20 years of the world and business trying to navigate that balance and figure out how to do that. Because I see a future where, we prefer as humans to talk to an AI robot for customer service over speaking to a human because we'll probably get better support. So, but I see where you're coming from, where you don't want to lose that personalized touch that you're so passionate about adding to what you do. So very interesting, and I have been super enlightened just hearing about your process and how you've gone about everything. So I really appreciate everything that you said. Is there anything else that you would add to, or you would say to founders who are listening, and any advice that you would give to them?
Well, my only advice is really find your why, like why you're doing that and why the company exists, and stay loyal to this why. Like the strategy will change 100 times, but your why should not change, which is really your mission, why you should exist, and why you have brought this company to life to accomplish which mission. And to the extent that you stay loyal to this why, to this vision, then stay resilient, and time will work in your favor in the end, in the same way as it does with investments. But you have to stay in the game. if you pull out, then you just lock the losses.
Yeah. I love what you said. I wrote it on a sticky note here. Find your why. I'm gonna put it here on my computer because I love that. It's what keeps you grounded in the days that are tough, and I think that's really insightful even for myself. And because yeah, as an entrepreneur, no one's telling you what to do. You kind of have to navigate your
Yes.
own path, and if you don't have a strong why, it's really hard to stay consistent and stay motivated.
Yes, exactly. Well, final note, you can find us on the App Store and Google Play. Download wealthmeup.ai. Also on social media, we are active on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Our vision is really to make something that you love and find you where your needs are. So we don't want you to find us, we find you where your everyday spending is. And we are always open, and we actually want more feedback on how we can make this experience much better, much more seamless, much more personalized, much more tailored to your needs.
I love it. And I've looked at your guys' product and dug into a little bit. You guys have great UX, UI. It looks so nice. So yeah, I'm excited to go and explore more about the product as well. And I hope that our listeners go and check it out and download it because you've created an amazing product. I'm excited about it, and I want to watch you guys just take off and take this market by storm. Well, thank you so much, Feli, for your time and for kind of talking through your experience and everything and sharing your insights with founders. It's been really insightful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing and following your guys' journey onward.
Yes, no, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing where you go also with the podcast.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thanks everyone for listening.